I don't know. Are we live yet or what, Mike? What happened there?
I have no idea. I'm just working on my app number 2, locally hosted on this 2020 MacBook Pro M1, and I'm just happy to be here. So are we live?
I'm just happy to be able to wake up this morning and hang out
I'm
with all
telling
you
you,
fine folks.
this stuff is absolutely amazing. Like, anyhow, absolutely amazing.
It is absolutely amazing, and I am working with amazing right now. And if I could ever get to the point of vibe coding the executive producer to be a little bit more, how should I say, automated, useful, independent, that would be cool. But I still haven't quite figured that out yet.
I'd like to. So, what is vibe coding? Because I've had someone come back and say, "Oh, so you're vibe coding now?" And I was like, I don't know, I really call it vibe coding, but like, what is? Is there an official like technical definition? What's your definition of vibe coding?
It's what you're doing. It's not having to code, but being able to code because you can be like, hey, what do I feel like making today? Hey, hey, Grok, go ahead and make me a completely working web app that builds an entire news show for me, and where just the click of a button and go look for stuff. And yeah, that's cool.
In any interaction that we've ever had, would you ever describe me as communicating in that context?
Let me think for a little bit. No.
so, like, so it's you know what granted, I've only recently become a coder, so I'm a new guy here.
No.
New coder.
Hi, my name's Mike. I'm a vibe coder.
I think coding really is just, and this is going to offend some people. It's knowing how to use Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V, and doing that over and over and over again a lot of times. Now, there's nuance in some of the language that ultimately gets changed around in there, but even if you just go back in the day to my time at Safari, which is at that when I first started, it was a joint venture between O'Reilly and technology. Aren't familiar with O'Reilly Media. O'Reilly would be if you ever walk into the technical section of a bookstore, and yet there used to be this place that you go to. It wasn't the library, but it was a place you'd go in, and they'd sell coffee and books, and sometimes they'd sell games and puzzles and wrapping paper, and periodically the elf on the shelf would show up and all that kind of stuff. And there's this place that used to go, and Jen and I would hang out there. It was like a cool place to go hang out on a Friday night or a Saturday night. You just get a cup of coffee, look at a couple of travel books, look at a couple of other books that are interesting, and then probably walk out with something new. And Barnes and Noble, Borders, you Google this stuff. Some of them have gone the way of Blockbuster. That place, you'd actually go and you'd pick up a video, and then there'd be a little sticker in the middle of it, a sticker on it that would remind you, be kind, rewind. And there was it was a simpler time. It was a simpler time.
It was.
But one of the reasons why these books with the animals on the covers were super useful for folks is because it would include code snippets that you could use to help start with a base of code, and then you could build on that. So it wasn't like I had to go out there and create this entire foundation and start with the more traditional one, which is hello world, right? So you start with hello world, and it's, look, I'm here, and you get that out there. I don't know that I would call what I'm doing vibe coding, because there's more nuance to that. When you're just kind of going with the vibe, going with the flow, it's like, hey, bro, let's go, let's work through this stuff. It's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, that's good, and that's good enough. And I'm going to go run with it. And I'm just going to run with it. And I do not let this thing stop. Like and that's why it's kind of interesting. The interaction I've had with Grok now is Grok is like, hey, let's go. We can make this better. We can make this better. We can make this better. Claude, on the other hand, was like, hey, this is good, man. Like you've done some really cool stuff. And it, there's just a different, I guess there's a different vibe in the way that you interact with the tools through kind of the process. But I'm telling you, um, there are a lot of people talking about this stuff, and given the language that they use when they talk about it in social media,
Yeah.
my perception is they're not actually using the tools yet.
Say more. What do you mean by that?
Well, because I don't think they're actually building. I think they're telling you how you could build. It's that whole trap of
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah.
you know, do as I say, not what I do, or those who can't do teach. Like all of that kind of stuff. Like there's this
Yeah.
kind of there's this thing that's out there, and it's almost like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get you interested enough, but I'm and there's always going to be something just a little bit further away from being able to push the button. And what I'm suggesting is that you just push the freaking button right now, like, and and do it. So like here's the cool thing. I hear Brent say, "Hey, I really wish that some of this would just kind of go and go and go," and I'm like, dude, let's fucking build it. Like now I'm certain that we could literally build anything. Like in the last, it's 12 hours ish. So my hair is going to get grayer. I'm not going to shave. Like I'm really going to turn into a freaking hermit because this is what's capturing my mind. But in the last 12 hours, I've built another local app on my machine, web-based app, locally hosted, that based on a couple of prompts will create a blog post, and a blog post that is both SEO and AEO optimized. And it's one of the things I've learned is, oh, now I understand why my stuff is not AEO optimized. There's different things that the system knows to put in there, questions that are prompted with answers that follow that help the machines understand, oh, okay, here, when this question comes up, here's an appropriate answer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could have read about that in a book or listened to someone talk about the importance of AEO and why you need to do it and all that kind of stuff. But now that I've seen it, now I'm like, oh fuck, that's what I've been fucking up. So so anyway, this experience has been absolutely freaking phenomenal, and I'm really only like, I'm not even a week in.
Well, it is. I gotta tell you, it is killing me that I don't have the time to focus and do what you're doing. But I will, and I'm strategically planning my time. But here's the other piece. It is I I keep reading the same things of the people telling you what to do, and it made me feel like, yet like yesterday after you and I talked about a little bit about, hey, yeah, just start and just start talking to it, just asking it questions, just telling it. And we've said this dozens of times before in the
Yeah.
show. Just say, hey, I'm new here. I don't know what to do. What do you
Right.
think I should do? And just start going from there.
Yeah.
I read another post from somebody saying, doing the old, if you're not getting the results you want, you should be prompting like this,
Mm.
and to get better results, you should be doing this and that and the other thing.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking to myself, these are learning professionals that are forgetting the science of learning.
Yeah.
And yet these are the same people that tout the science of learning on the regular
Right.
and will bash other people for not approving them and their knowledge of the science of learning. And what they're not realizing is that you've got to go through the process that you're going through. What you just said was, oh, I didn't know I could do that, but now I do. You learned by doing it. right? You got in there and you did it. So what we are telling people to do, the people who are experts at it are saying, no, 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 no. You don't have to do what Brent and Mike are saying. That's not how you do it. If to do it better, you do it this way, this way, this way, this way. Well, okay, let's just pretend you're somebody that reads that and you jump in and you want to do it the way they're telling you to do it, which is like the advanced way or the semi-advanced way, intermediate, let's say. Okay, are they going to understand why what they just did worked or why it might be better than just talking to it or anything like that? No, they're not going to have a clue. But if they go through the process and the frustration and the quote unquote learning of starting from scratch, being a newbie, going through the struggle, learning is difficult, folks, and answering questions in your own mind and understanding how that things are coming back to you, and then moving on to the next step, you become the knowledge is deeper, right? It gets pushed into long-term memory. It's stronger because you built it yourself. You didn't just put something in and go, Now, I would also argue that there's multiple different ways of going down the path of learning.
Yeah.
You could jump into the middle with a super advanced prompt and start there. Absolutely. Why not? You can. So if that's how you learn and that's how you want to do it, great. Because sooner or later you're going to tear it apart and go, I wonder why it did that. And you're going to realize, oh, if I did what Brent and Mike did, I could just ask it. But no, that's not a good enough prompt. I got to come up with a fancy prompt to get it back. No, you can just say, tell me what the fuck just happened when I put that big ass prompt in there.
It truly is beautiful. Like we are very, I look at it this way. I am very fortunate to be on this rock at this time and place. And as much as there's all crazy whatever going on at any point in time, there's also an opportunity to go through and do things that you never thought were possible or would love to have been able to do, but never had the time to go through and do it. And then once you start doing it, you make time, and it's not all consuming. Now, I mean, we've talked about it before. From an ADHD perspective, it's very easy to get lost in the thing, and everything can be all-consuming at that point in time, up into the point that it's not anymore, and then you move on to whatever because you find something else to distract yourself with.
Squirrel.
That's a real, yeah. It's a real thing, and
Yeah.
so you put systems in place to help reduce the potential risk. One of the systems that's in place, I think, from a Claude perspective, is you've got limited number of tokens, and even with Grok, you've got limited number of tokens. And I spend a little bit more on Grok than I do on Claude, so I've got more stuff there. But anyhow, what I can tell you is anybody who's out there telling you, I moved everything over to Claude, and here's why you should too, doesn't understand the foundation of what is being built right now. They are pimping whatever the cool tech is in a given point in time because of the way that certain things happen. The experience building with Claude is definitely more comfortable, meaning it goes through and it does things and it keeps things in a very organized manner. Grok, on the other hand, actually set up an entire file structure in the back end of my machine to go through and do the things that I need to do with this SEO, AEO thing, AEO writer, and is doing API calls to parts of the machine. And I've had to go back in and say, hey, why did you do this? Like, why did you set it up this way? And Grok is looking at it and saying, well, I want to set it up so it's more scalable as you add more things to it. Now, so there's a benefit in actually experiencing doing it. And the unlock that I think a lot of people will help a lot of people is think about it in this context: inputs and outputs. I put something in, I get something back. I put something in, I get something back. I put something in, I get something back, and just keep going through that. That's the iterative process. It's an iterative learning process that will help you and the machine learn and get better at doing the thing that it's working on. And the
Yeah.
other thing that you remember is um, this, and you're also dealing with something that has dementia. You can completely wipe the slate clean by hitting delete or completely removing a block of code, and now that's no longer part of the equation anymore. There's no emotional connection on either side related to what is happening there. Like I was sharing with a couple of guys the other day that or yesterday that, hey, I took I'm looking at Craig's comments. I'll jump on that too. And Craig, just like scripts are important, Slack threads are important too. So the if I took code that one engineer or one developer put together, and I said, hey, while you were sleeping, I took your code and I shared it with your colleague. I went over and I talked to Bob. Bob took a look at your code and Bob said, hey, there are these gaps and we're going to go ahead and fix these gaps. So I'd like you to fix the gaps. What do you think Joe's response, or Gary, when we used the algorithm yesterday? Like,
Yes.
What do you think Gary's response to that is? Is Gary like, oh, dude, Bob's on freaking point. Let's go. This is a really good thing. Or is Gary's tendency to be like, why the heck is Bob looking at my code?
I don't know if he's a vibe coder, maybe he's into it and he totally digs it.
There you go. Like I guess it depends on how the team you put together. So when you put your team together, remember those things. And there's this inputs and outputs, inputs and outputs, inputs and outputs, ones and zeros, binary decisions, like all of those things. We live in an amazing time, and the energy that I've got associated with it is absolutely phenomenal. So is it like energy though? Do you get less than you put in each time? I don't think so. I mean, I can tell you, I'm a bit frustrated with Grok, because Grok is looking for perfection. Like, it's like, hey, we can just iterate on this piece of code a little bit more, like based on the feedback. So it's feedback loop. So you go in, you put something in, you build it, you run the same test. It sees the output of the test. It's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. It's getting closer, but it can get this much better. I'm like, dude, good enough is good enough. Let's move on to phase 2, which phase 2 is I want to be able to share a version of a post that I put together so that it can see what my voice is, not tell it what my voice is, actually see it. Because I don't want to go in and work through the process of going in and having to explain why I write the way I write. No, this is just an example. So let's take what you know about SEO and what you know about AEO and what you know about how I like to write, and let's put those together and create like a super mic. Anyway.
Super mic. Hey, have I given you enough time to get the script?
Let me go find
it. That's what my rant was all about. You weren't supposed to listen to it.
I know. We agreed that was going to happen. And then I went in and I grabbed a screenshot of my little AEO SEO app and dropped it in there, and then saw Craig's thing about like, hey, I despise threads in Slack and it disrupts his workflow. So, I despise scripts and it disrupts my workflow. Sometimes
we're already at 20 minutes and we haven't even started yet. So I know. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to disrupt your workflow right now and say we have to get to the news.
I have one more comment just to build on Wendy's thing. So, but then again, you have the opportunity to do this. Those of us who are restricted by a company cannot easily give code tabs. Here's a super, super, super important point. When I show you this laptop, you'll see the laptop stickers and realize I did not put the laptop stickers on this laptop. So anyhow, these are the, I'm not, other than the AEO SEO, I'm starting to get into the point where I'm going in and doing something that's more of the business specific type stuff, or getting into my IP. The reason why I'm working on doing this as a local install is so that I can put our stuff on it and not have it and de-risk some of the exposure that's potentially out there. Not that it's really not that there's a lot of risk in what we do, but I'm doing it separately. Like if you're working at a company and you can't do whatever I'm doing because that company won't let you do it, go find an old laptop that you've got around your house, an old MacBook. Ideally, you're working on Apple Silicon because of the way that the architecture supports some of the work that you're doing. But pick up an old machine and just answer this. Just come up with the answer to these two fill in the blank questions. It sucks that ... Like it sucks that I have to prompt the producer every morning to go through and put all of this stuff together. It would be awesome if, and there's the vibe coding. Hey, it would be awesome if ... Fill in those blanks. And what you're going to find are you're going to find some things that you'd like to solve for and a view of the vision of the future. And now you can lay out, hey, it'd be cool if I could build something that does this. So go build that separately. Don't be limited to the classes that are in the LMS or the schedule that is held at the in the operating environment or the tools that are available to you in that environment. If you want to test this, go test on your own. And if you don't test on your own, it's going to be hard to sift through the bullshit that's out there. So, okay, back to the script. I got the script open. Thank you for letting me vent. No, you didn't.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong screen. All right, let's try.
It's time for today's headlines.
Good morning, corporate America. I'm Brent, and I've already had 4 espressos and a 15-minute micro-learning module on how to breathe while caffeinated.
And I'm Mike. I just tried to use Gen AI to write my daughter's, I do not have a daughter, my son's bedtime story, and it gave me a 10-slide PowerPoint on bedtime synergy and sleep state scalability. He's still crying.
Standard Tuesday. Let's dive into the news that's making your instructional design degree feel both vital and slightly terrifying.
Today's breaking news.
Our top story today, neuroscientists at Duke and Harvard just found the volume knob for learning in the brain. Apparently, there's a hidden circuit in the cerebellum that lifts the brakes on neuroplasticity only when you make a massive glaring mistake.
Wait, so you're telling me that the $50,000 perfect path simulation I built is actually making people stupider because they aren't failing enough?
And stupider is a word.
It
Exactly.
Is it really a word? And it has multiple syllables. Like, come on.
Stupider and stupider. It should be a movie. Exactly. If they aren't crashing the virtual forklift into the virtual break room, they aren't learning. The brain needs the error signal to strengthen Purkinje cells. That'll be interesting to look up. Somebody Google that quick and put it in the comments. Basically, your L&D motto for 2026 should be, if you don't mess up, you didn't show up. Hey, I was just talking about that a little bit, wasn't I?
I'm going to tell my boss that my typos in the compliance module were actually a neurological learning enhancement.
And everybody should go check out Psychology Today, which is the resource for that last story. Why making mistakes is key to mastery. I'm a huge fan, so I totally dig that.
It's time for technology and innovation.
Speaking of mistakes, HR leaders are currently panicking.
The wrong thing.
Oh, damn it. That's you. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of mistakes, HR leaders are currently panicking. Yes. New research from Josh Bersin shows that while companies are spending billions on AI, 74% admit that they can't keep up with the demand for new skills. We're calling it the AI workforce reset.
It's not just a skill gap, it's a skill canyon. HR is shifting from job titles to skills intelligence. If your resume says project manager, you're a dinosaur. If it says agentic AI orchestrator with a side of emotional intelligence, you're a god.
L&D is no longer a cost center, folks. It's an intelligence engine. If you aren't mapping transferable capabilities right now, you are just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Reference on this one is Josh Bersin's new research on AI transforming corporate learning, February 2026, and the HRD America AI Workforce Reset, March 24th, 2026.
And now for our human and culture segment.
Here's one for the... Damn it, I keep doing that. You go.
Jane, you ignorant slut. Here's one for the I didn't see that coming file. Employees in 2026 are now demanding to be paid for training their digital doppelgangers.
Oh, yeah, I guess now it's my turn. I'm vibe coding. Wait, like a stunt double?
Better. Companies are creating AI avatars of high-performing employees to scale their expertise. The trend for 2026 is likeness protection. Holy crap, we are going to do NIL deals for people at businesses. Employees want royalties if their AI twin is still teaching Sales 101 5 years after they quit to become a goat farmer.
I want a royalty every time someone uses an AI version of my voice to say, please complete your mandatory harassment training. This is from the LA Times, managing the new blend of human and virtual coworkers. I don't think we've gotten a reference from a newspaper yet. That's interesting. We'll talk about that after our next story.
And now, a random industry with an L&D problem. Solving the
This one actually starts with Brent, so I'm getting it right this time. In pharma news, the FDA just dropped massive draft guidance on moving away from animal testing in favor of new approach methodologies like organ on a chip and computer simulations.
This is huge for L&D in the lab space. We're moving from teaching people how to handle mice to teaching them how to manage complex 3D in vitro models and AI-driven toxicology simulations.
The training requirement for human-centric data validation is about to explode. If you're an ID in pharma, put down the pipette and pick up the VR headset. Reference from the FDA, guidance on alternatives to animal testing.
And now for the news in authoring tools.
Finally, the Battle of Titans. Articulate Storyline 360 just moved its AI assistant out of beta. It can now precisely sync slide objects to audio and even write with JavaScript for you.
Meanwhile, over in the Adobe camp, users are reporting that the new Captivate version 13 has unstable review links that randomly break.
It's the classic L&D struggle. Articulate is giving us AI superpowers while Adobe is basically saying, have you tried emailing our support team and waiting 3 days?
Choose your fighter, folks. One builds your course, the other builds your character through suffering. Ouch! That reference is from the Articulate Storyline 360 version history and Adobe Community Captivate 13 review link issues. Well, that's our show. Go out there, make some neural pathway lifting mistakes, and don't let your digital twin take your lunch money.
Keep learning, or at least keep the LXP tab open so it looks like you are. Good night. Or good morning.
Good morning. Which song
The
is
clock
it?
just struck, the news is done. Now it's time to have some fun. Forget the spreadsheets and the charts. We're learning new things for our hearts. Whoa, a Tuesday training day. We're all here to sing and play. A Tuesday
know Metallica could be irritated with us, but I really think we should wrap up with Fade to Black. Just take the prompt from the machine telling us that we should fade to black and just throw that in there.
Just
I'm
make
catching up on
it real.
on the comments. Really cool to see the comments in here. Wendy, Craig, thank you. Really, as much as we give each other shit, it's because we care. Our sarcasm is my love language, and I appreciate you guys being here. I really like this piece. It has made my dreams and ideas come to fruition easier. Yes, it is. You literally can world build, like,
Yeah.
literally you can. There's no better way to say it than you can world build. Like, this is now, if you can dream it, you can do it. Like all of that kind of stuff. Right? Like, imagination. Bring SpongeBob in here. So there's a really cool thing that's coming together, and it can do it so much faster. Like, now you still have to go in and check work and make sure and kind of listen to different things. And that's why I've done the testing that I've done around, and I've been so nuanced in this with like the different clips. My ear, I can't hear the difference between clip B. Well, I can hear between B and I, or B and some of the other ones, but I can't hear the difference between. And for those of you who are wondering, what we do in the Slack channel is I'm sharing a little bit about what I've been building in the background and kind of the process, so people could see it working through the iterative process. And I've been asking the guy that I know who is really good at audio to listen to some of this stuff and tell me what like some of the shit means, because I have no idea what some of the markings up and markings down at a decibel level really mean, and what I even need. Like, I went into Camtasia yesterday, and one of the options is to like thin your voice or whatever, like whatever that means. It's like a button. You just push the button and then you listen to the audio and it comes back out the other side. It actually made it sound closer to what I was thinking. I'm thinking thin is like the higher end of treble, but it actually removed some of the treble out, and there was more of the bass in my voice that came through a little bit more deeper range. I have no idea what any of this stuff means. I'm literally a monkey pushing buttons, like hairless monkey pushing buttons as I go through and do this stuff.
You're vibe audio producing.
There you go. Like, I'm vibing everything. Like, again, it is fascinating because you could just keep moving with it. So, yeah. So, like Craig here, I've wanted to build an app for over 10 years. What would have taken him 3 years to do is taking weeks. Like, the app that he shared inside the Slack channel is really freaking cool. Now, I don't understand the game. Like, I didn't go back through and try to figure out the instructions of it and what I'm doing with the cards and how I earn points and all the other stuff. If I wanted to take the mental capacity to figure it out, I could go in there and figure it out. And I would think, okay, well, what happens when I do this and all of that? But right now, my mental capacity to fucking around and figuring shit out is driven to my vibe coding and that side of things. Like, the third app that I'm going to create is going to be absolutely insane. And
because what are you doing right now, Mike? What are you doing right now? You're learning. Of course, the next one you do is going to be insane.
Well, it's this whole learn, think, and act, right? Like, when we've talked about it, you learn, you start doing it, you think, you reflect on how it applies to what you already know, and then you take action, you do the next thing, and you just keep doing it. And I think that's the theme that we've been talking about now for years, and over the course of this show.
And we're going to be talking about it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or did we change the time to keep it the same time? Because we changed time zones.
No, we said we wanted to keep it. It's not 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's
10 a.m. Eastern time. Wait,
yeah,
what?
You said Pacific. Did you say Pacific?
Yeah.
I think you said Pacific. I'll have to go back. 10 a.m. Eastern. So 10 a.m. Eastern. But we don't have anybody who's raised their hands and said, hey, I want to be a part of this thing. But the word I was going to use was enablement. Like, how do you enable humans to go out there and feel comfortable going out and do different things? But 10 a.m., I've got it marked in my calendar for 10 a.m. Eastern, which is 7 a.m. our time, which means we go right from this into that.
And we roll right into it. Okay.
Roll
I'm not
right
sure
into
that's
it,
going
but
to, I'm
I
not
think
sure
you
that's
need
going to
to-
vibe with me, but we'll figure it out because we haven't published anything yet, have we?
I have not published anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we can even just say that we don't do tomorrow.
Hold that thought. Let's come back to that. Let's go back to the news. Was there a story in the news that stuck out for anybody? Wendy, Craig? And you know what's weird is that the bottom of the graphic, something's up with the text. Is that showing up weird for you?
Yeah, but it's almost like it comes across the whole image. So like where it says pharma, like there's the red, orange, and blue kind of thing, and then it starts to get into the blacks, and it just kind of works its way across. So I think it was a design element that the producer chose to do because they were demonstrating their creativity in their creative side of their.
The funny thing is that is not on the image on my iPad where the original image is. It's only in the stream.
Yes, Wendy missed the punchline on, and I don't know if she really missed it or she just wants to hear us say it again. But the punchline on the AI versus Adobe, or excuse me, Articulate versus Adobe, which might ruffle some people's feathers. So
the authoring too.
Let's go back to the punchline.
Sure,
Brent, I think you read it.
Choose your fighter, folks. One builds your course, the other builds your character through suffering.
That's basically what my one before that was. It's the classic L&D struggle. Articulate is giving us AI superpowers, while Adobe is basically saying, "Have you tried emailing our support team and waiting 3 days?" So, yeah. So
you know what's funny is that the executive producer decided to even leave that story off of the thumbnail and the overview of today's show.
I like the image though. I like the battle in the ring. Like it did a pretty good job with the image. Pull the image back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dug that too. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, the prompt was good for that one.
I don't know that I'd call the Adobe version of that a Titan.
Maybe just a hero man or something.
No, I'm talking about the Adobe one, like the Adobe one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so a Titan against a Titan. Yeah, a much smaller Titan. Saturday night main event. It should have been Tuesday night too. Come on, executive producer.
When you saw a debate where people were talking about whether or not they will be renewing Articulate. I wonder what the debate was. I wonder if I've never used Articulate.
You've never used it?
The closest I've come to using a development tool was Domino.
Oh, did I teach you how to use that?
No, well, I mean, you showed me it, and then we kind of went into it. And I don't actually, maybe I didn't even use it. Maybe I just remember you showing me it to make me think that I used it. I use Camtasia. I don't know. Would Camtasia be considered an authoring tool, or is it ultimately just an editing tool?
No, it's an authoring tool too, because you can like do cool stuff with it. I think
I can do cool stuff with anything.
Well, because now you can vibe code, man.
Dude, I could do cool stuff before I vibe code. I've only been a vibe coder for a week. Like, dude, hello world. I'm going to do a post where a lot of the product people that I've worked with over my career are probably going to be like, oh, fuck. Like that's just going to be their visceral response. Either that or some of them are going to be like, wow, that's kind of cool. How about the cutting room floor?
Oh yeah, let's hit that. I'm scrolling. Visual prompts. Oh, what happened to the cutting room floor? There it is. The cutting room floor, 10 stories not selected, ladies and gentlemen. The top 10 unselected stories of today. Number 1, Lumen Technologies joins Fast Company's most innovative list for AI infrastructure. Let's go every other one. You do the evens.
E+ named CRN Tech Elite 250 for massive employee certification growth.
Number 3, One Ed Tech releases 2026 Trust Ed Generative AI Data Privacy Rubric.
SCCE announced Fundamentals of Compliance Investigations virtual workshop March.
ICH publishes final training module for electronic transmission of safety reports.
Tech Class Report 2026 is the year of the algorithmically orchestrated capability building.
The Columbia, and this is number 7, Columbia Southern University, research on thermodynamics in a VR volcano.
VR volcano. Who doesn't want a VR volcano? Instructional design central micro-learning shifts to micro workflow nudges in 2026. So there we go. A little bit of behavioral science there.
Nudging. Number 9, Thomson Reuters, 10 global compliance concerns for 2026.
And then finally, the SMB workforce management AI hiring tools reduce SMB onboarding time by 50%. Wonder where they're getting. That's going to be that's kind of an interesting one, because that's one to keep, primarily because what we're talking about is business impact. I'm wondering though where they're getting the data from. So I'm just taking a look at it, and I'm looking to figure out, see if I can figure out who sponsored that story. That was a joke.
No, it's not. It's totally legit. Who did it? Who wrote it? It doesn't, because I don't know if SMB workforce management, is that the source? Is that the name of it?
Business Review .eu. So this comes out of the EU. Many growing businesses face the same. That's why HR tech is a critical asset. Your company scales, digital transformation eventually you'll need. So it kind of lays out how all of these things do for companies, benefits of it. So it all is really basically saying, hey, this is kind of what you need to do. It's all written from the perspective of, I'm going to share an advertisement with you, but I'm going to try to trick you to make you not think it's an advertisement for the thing that I'm delivering. And what I don't see is, I don't know about the, powered by GTS Telecom. Huh. Anyway, Constantine Marcy is the author, and this thing was published on the 23rd. So, I mean, again, the tool's doing a good job going out and finding this stuff. Like, it's finding current content. What I'm going to do, and I know I've said I want to see if I could get the tool to pick up one of the things that I posted, and I've not posted a blog post like that or an article that on the Catalyst sale website, which I think is the better place to do it, just because of the website traffic we get there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to call on I'm going to cite Bersin's article and share my perspective and hope the AI picks it up, because it seems to like Bersin's article and then other people's perspectives on it.
Does it though? Like, every time it mentions Bersin, does it actually mention him and what somebody else has written?
Yeah, so take a look at the one that we did today. Like, if you look at the source material on the one that mentioned Bersin, it refers to Bersin's research that was released in February, and then the HRD article that references that research that went live this month.
I clicked that link and it went right to Josh Bersin's page.
Well, click on the one next to it. The second, is there an HRD link?
Oh yeah, HRD America.
Yeah. The other thing I'm learning is I'm getting a little bit better at both reading and remembering. I'm starting to catch up. The first little bit, it was really scary because I was so focused on reading and not tripping over. Now I'm starting to remember. Recall is there. It's also when this shorter version of the script that Gemini does, I think helps that. Like those long ones that Claude was doing, I think starts to cloud the story. And all I want to do is move on, and it just keeps talking about the same story. I like the shorter Gemini version. Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else though. I'd love some feedback on people watching this and whatnot. If they would prefer a deeper dive in the script, or if us just discussing these stories freely afterwards is valuable. Instead, what other story did we miss that we did not touch on? Psychology today. Oh, so we didn't the plasticity, the stupider one. Our breaking news in neuroscience, that finding the volume knob. The neuroscientists at Duke and Harvard. I liked the image that the executive producer came up with.
Yeah.
So I think we've been talking about this from a neuroscience perspective in the industry for a while. You have to, there's this struggle when the value of your course is based on smile sheets. You just want people to be happy, and you want people to have fun, and you want it to be easy, and you want them to feel like they learned something, whether they did or not. When we all know that stronger, deeper learning comes from the struggle, comes from running into a wall and not knowing, and asking questions and solving the problem yourself and figuring it out. Teachers that are really, really good teachers don't just hand you the answer. They ask you questions and try to drag the answer out of you. They try to force you to think through where you've hit the wall and help you get through the wall, around the wall, over the wall, whichever path you decide to take. And that's always been the value of having a subject matter expert or a good instructor in the front of the classroom. Like, think of Ted Lasso, right? Didn't know anything about soccer, but was a damn good coach and just could help the team and the players get better without knowing much about the game, the actual game.
Yeah.
Because he knew people, and he knew how to draw the best out of them. It was their job to play the game. His job was just to get them to think about things differently and to learn and to figure this stuff out themselves.
Okay. It highlights a couple of things like transferable skills, the ability to kind of pull out subject matter expertise in that kind of environment. And the other thing that it kind of triggered for me is there's this old guy in, I think, Greece, who walked around in a robe and asked a bunch of questions that kind of has a method that is still kind of sits out there and gets used today when we follow it, when we ask those questions and kind of work through it and get comfortable. And I think one of the biggest mistakes we can make as leaders, whether you're facilitating in front of a room or you're facilitating a meeting, one of the biggest mistakes we can make as leaders is dismissing someone who asks a question.
Yeah.
And it's because what will end up happening is you'll start reinforcing the behavior of don't ask questions, when you start doing that, then you destroy learning inside your organization. And and that's a pretty quick path to go down if you want to slow your business down.
Well, here's a twist on, well, not really a twist on it, but for those people who understand gaming and game development and the theories of learning associated with game design and whatnot, there is this perfect balance in game design between success and failure. Yep. And that is the whole thing is around making a game. How you make something attractive is you make it hard enough that when you fail, you do feel like you can still succeed the next time around because you did something wrong and you learned from it, and so you try again. And if it's too hard, you quit. If it's too easy, you get bored and you quit. But there is this middle ground that if you can find in a game, then your game will be famous, and everybody will love it and everybody will enjoy it. It's balancing that easy and hard meter right in the middle. And we've been talking about this for decades too, that we should make our learning that way. Make it so that you're leveling up, right? You level up when you learn, not when somebody says, hey, the whole class is leveling up. Hey, wait, I don't know what's going on. No, you just level up because everyone's leveling up. No, that's when you get left behind, and now all of a sudden things are going to become too hard and you quit.
There's a really good book out there, if you've not read it. It's called Becoming Superhuman. And in Becoming Superhuman, they get into the discussion of flow state and finding that state of flow, which is the balance between, hey, I'm doing something that's really, really hard. I forget. I'd have to. So anyway, take a look at Becoming Superhuman, and you can figure out what the X and Y axis is. But you plot this up on an X and Y axis, and then you start to see these gutters that Brent is talking about, these kind of inner and outer bands of, ooh, this is just too easy, so I'm going to get bored. Oh, this is just too hard. I'm going to get frustrated because I can't make progress and I can't get through it. It's super, super powerful when you start thinking about training and conditioning. And you can get into another really good book that gets into some of the conditioning and successful approximation and building on this, which kind of ties into game design, is Karen Pryor's book, Don't Shoot the Dog. So two good books if you want to go deep into this side of things, both Becoming Superhuman and Don't Shoot the Dog.
And did anybody find a link to what in the hell the Purkinje cells are?
I have no idea. No.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
What was there was another book that you recommended way back when. Is it The Theory or Art of Game Design, The Art and Theory of Game Design, or The Theory of Game Design?
It's the Theory of Fun by Ralph Koster is a book that I recommend to everybody. I think I have it.
Another awesome book. So Theory of Fun, another good book to get into this stuff.
Yeah, I would give a quick... I always tell people about this. If you are into learning and you are one of those people that has come to the game, so to speak, with an interest, maybe you've met Dr. Carl Kopp or Kevin Thorne or any one of the other people who focus on game design, game development stuff. Ralph Koster is like the original guru of game design, and his book, Theory of Fun, you'll notice it's very, very thin, so it's a super easy read. Ralph did all the artwork himself. You'll be able to tell right away. And my favorite line from the book is, in games, learning is the drug.
Oh, no kidding. That's cool. That's a great quote. In games, learning is the drug. You made some other really good book recommendations. One of my favorite books that you recommended, and I recommend it to a number of people now, is after reading it, and it's about time that I go back to it, but it's The Design of Everyday Things.
It's a classic.
Yellow book. It's got a red tea kettle on the front cover, and the handle is on the same side as the spout. And you're like, why would someone do something like that? And when you read that book, so much of the stuff you work on will become more clear. You're just kind of like, huh.
You will look at the world that we live in a completely different way. You will annoy the people that you're with because you're going to start looking at the most mundane things that you touch and feel and experience on a daily basis, but yet your brain totally ignores because it's just normal, quote unquote. It is. That is probably one of the best books. Those types of books are my favorite to recommend to people because I believe those teach us more about learning than any corporate learning focused book will ever teach you. And they all reference these books. These are the books that that are the source material for every other e-learning, learning and development book that you'll ever read. All of the authors that you know that are industry people have read all of these books. The Artist's Way, yep, that's another one. There's another one about
read that one.
Art.
I just dropped it into the Slack channel just so that it's kind of cool. One of the things I like about Ecamm is I can quickly copy and paste the comments and just drop them into Slack. That's kind of cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Huh. I got to wrap things up here only because I've got a call. One of those weird days where I've got a call right that backs right up to this.
No worries. I have to bug out early too, so this is perfect timing. Thanks, everybody. We let's go ahead and we'll do this tomorrow for sure. Whether or not we hang on at 7:00 or just start over. Maybe it's not a challenge tomorrow. Maybe it's just AI. We have a tendency to be riffing on AI in general, your project, how we build the show, and all of that. Maybe we do the hour afterwards as just a AI breakdown of what you're doing, taking a look at it, and maybe talk about some of the other elements. I don't know, but since
we'll figure it out. Plus, Craig, Wendy, let us know what you'd like to see. Anybody else that's listening to this, let us know what you think, what you'd like to see tomorrow, what questions you have. If you want to get into the Slack channel, the best way to do it is go to livewithbrentandmike.com. You hit up livewithbrentandmike.com. We'll then have your email. We'll be able to invite you to the Slack channel. We'll get you in there, and you can see how the conversation continues to persist over the course of the week. Brent says this often. Training is an event. Learning is a process. Technology enables both. And performance support is the ultimate objective. Like how we perform, it's driving performance is the ultimate objective. And you'll see that from a foundational layer in the work that we're doing. We share what we're working on, have created an opportunity and space for other people to share the things that they're working on, and have some awesome back and forth. Last week's back and forth on some of the behavioral assessment tools was really cool. Wendy shared her feedback in there, which was awesome to see. If you want to join us and be part of this ride and get to know a group of people who are committed to helping people move forward, which is what leaders do, come join us at livewithbrentandmike.com. Brent, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.